Four, three, two, 1, 0.
Hey guys, how is everyone doing? We are still talking about Nolan Wells. Now, nothing official have been confirmed, but it really seems like with all of the confusion that's being put in social media, it almost seemed that they're trying to do a cover up. I mean, who keeps someone's phone and have them stranded on the island? Like, those are still facts. You know, there are some factual things as it relates to this case. Obviously, what really happened to Nolan, we're still trying to figure that out. But I've been watching other people, and we all seem to feel the same way, that something in the milk ain't clean. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. And also, if you want to be notified when I go live or when I upload videos, make sure you enable your bell notification. Now, there are 3 ways to support the channel. Obviously, you can send a super chat and a question. You can also purchase a membership. You can also support the channel by sending a donation to my Cash App at @Lakeyshakeysha, and I will put that in the chat. Now, let's get into it. Now, if you guys have any questions or something that you want to send that you want me to actually answer, I would say super chat it. I do read the questions in the chat, but I just randomly pick questions, okay? Now, the most up-to-date thing that has happened in this case is this kid right here has pretty much come out and basically told us that, it was him as it relates to that argument. Now, I'm going to be honest, guys, as it relates to this case, I think everything would have made more sense if people would have, or should I say not people, but, well, they are people. These individuals that claim that they loved and cared about Nolan so much, why didn't they say anything? Aren't we like in day 9 or something like that? Why didn't they say anything? But now they're coming out, people coming out with these statements. The interesting about this kid here is that Nolan's mom basically said that she really never met him. So how is this kid saying that he is Nolan's? I gotta get my drink because my mouth is dry. I put my stuff over here because I don't want to knock it off my table because I am a little clumsy. So I put it way away. I know I can't knock it over. Okay. Now, the interesting thing about these stories is, I don't say you somebody's best friend and the mother, like, I really never met him before. So let's kind of get into it. So this is what I think. And these are just my thoughts. Of course, nothing has been proven. My thoughts are, one way that you make a story seem uncredible is you start mixing in lies with the truth. Okay, now we saw there was a social media post where this girl claimed that, she was at the party and allegedly Nolan was beat up. And then the parents came out and said, yeah, that girl never reached out to us. So I almost feel like these boys and their parents are doing some work in the background. That's just my thoughts, because where are these people even coming from? Now let's get into this kid here that actually states that he is or was friends with Nolan. His name is, oh my gosh, Transcentian or whatever, but let's get into it. No, not that one. That's the wrong one. Okay, this one.
Mysterious death has truly devastated this community. We're hearing now for the first time, Robin, from an eyewitness, a friend of Wells who was with him on that fateful July 4th boat trip.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
This morning, a friend of Nolan Wells, who was with the 18-year-old the day he was last seen alive, is sharing what he says happened during a July 4th boat trip to an isolated barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Trayston Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
I'm gonna play it and then I'm gonna have to commentate because he said some very interesting things, but I'm gonna let it play out.
To address this viral video that investigators have been studying, Wells's parents worried it showed their son involved in a confrontation, but Shepherd said that's him, not Wells.
That's the video I'm referring to. That's me yelling.
Shepherd says he took a boat back from Horn Island in the late afternoon, but Wells stayed behind with a girl he had met.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say there were no immediate signs of foul play. But there is growing frustration in the community, and his parents are skeptical, telling GMA Wells left his phone behind and they tracked it to one of his friends.
It was showing everywhere the phone had been, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land.
The sheriff said the parents have not turned over the phone to investigators. Their lawyers said they will. While the investigation goes on, Trayston Shepherd wants the focus on his friend.
I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan and let us remember him as in like the sweet guy. I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
All right, guys, I'm gonna let this play again because words matter, especially in this particular situation where we trying to figure out what the hell happened to Nolan because, you know, this is giving a Karmelo Anthony spin. You know, this friend is giving 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐷 vibes. Now, if y'all don't know who 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐷 is and you didn't follow the Karmelo Anthony case, he was a fake ass friend. 𝐬𝐿𝐫𝐫𝐷 was somebody who was taking pictures with Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo Anthony thought this boy was his friend, and he was the one that probably set him up. So this kid is, I feel like those folks, you know, them parents of them kids sent him to do this dirty work. He says nobody wanted to see Nolan die. What? So did he drown? I mean, I'm confused. Nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Then he says his life was taken. I mean, was his life taken? I mean, because you all, or even you, are making it seem like, you know, he drowned. And even as we, you know, speak on the coroner, you know, we feel like they full of shit too, because this is why the parents have sent his body to Washington, D.C. And we'll get into the police. I don't know why I said the coroner, but we'll get into the police because they don't feel comfortable with them either. The police has already basically saying that they're still doing an investigation, but while doing their investigation, you guys do know that the police have already said that, oh, he drowned. Well, ask yourself this. Are you doing an investigation or have you already ruled this a drowning? Because it can't be two things, but they have seemingly said that he likely drowned. I don't understand why, you know, why you would even release that statement. Seemed like you would say, we don't want to prematurely say what happened until we finish our investigation. So, you know, it's just too many things that just don't add up. And everybody feel the same. You know, there are things that don't add up. Why would this boy say his life was taken? Strange choice of words, but let's rewind it just in case y'all didn't hear it.
His mysterious death has truly devastated this community. We're hearing now for the first time, Robin, from an eyewitness, a friend of Wells who was with him on that fateful July 4th boat trip.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
This morning, a friend of Nolan Wells, who was with the 18-year-old the day he was last seen alive, is sharing what he says happened during a July 4th boat trip to an isolated barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Trayston Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Shepard addressed this viral video that investigators have been studying. Wells's parents worried it showed their son involved in a confrontation, but Shepard said that's him, not Wells.
That's the video I'm referring to. That's me yelling.
Shepard says he took a boat back from Horn Island in the late afternoon, but Wells stayed behind with a girl he had met.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out, was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say there were no immediate signs of foul play. But there is growing frustration in the community, and his parents are skeptical, telling GMA Wells left his phone behind and they tracked it to one of his friends.
It was showing everywhere the phone had been, I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land.
The sheriff said the parents have not turned over the phone to investigators. Their lawyers said they will. While the investigation goes on, Trayston Shepard wants the focus on his friend.
I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan, and let us remember him as in like the sweet guy. I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
Shepard has spoken with the police guys, and the sheriff told us that both he and all of Wells's friends have been cooperative. We're still waiting on the results of the official autopsy and the independent autopsy the family has ordered, hoping to get the Wells family the answers that they so desperately seek. Very spot where the body.
Okay, so just to provide clarity, because I saw somebody put in a chat, this is not the same kid who did the TMZ interview, just for everybody so that you can kind of follow the story, because I was like, wait a minute, because they kind of look alike just a little bit to me at least, but they are not the same. 𝐬𝐿 is the friend that the mother spoke about. And here's 𝐬𝐿 right here.
You know, this friend of his, Trayston, also told ABC that video people have been talking about that was said to show some sort of altercation, it did not involve Nolan. He said it was actually him yelling in the video, and that you and a family member were holding him back because he'd been in a fight. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am. We were calming Trayston down. In that video where he said, "Give me my effing phone back," it sounds like him. So I'm pretty sure that he was right on that, but.
One thing that we have learned is that I guess the kid, the Trayston guy, when he says that it's him, at least, you know, I feel like that part is correct. But I'm going to be honest, I just don't understand why you didn't clarify it then. It almost seemed like it's a bigger, you know, something else is going on that we just don't know about, because the parents did another interview, you know, and in this interview, they don't even know this kid.
That it wasn't Nolan in the video, that it was him, and that Nolan met a girl that day that he really liked, even though he'd never, you know, interacted with this girl before. Her name was Katie. Have you spoken to Trayston since Nolan's passing, and how are you responding to his account of what happened?
So first of all, we don't know Trayston. We've never met him. So to say, you know, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Now, if you were to say that about Jalen or 𝐬𝐿, I would say absolutely. You could say that.
No, I've lost my.
Just so you guys are following it, because it is a little confusing. So 𝐬𝐿 is the guy in the second video. Okay, this is
that video people have been talking about.
So this is 𝐬𝐿 right here. This is his mom, Tashima. This is the lady who went to get the cell phone. So what Nolan's mom is saying, I don't know this kid. I'm not sure, you know, why he would think that him and Nolan are, you know, such good friends and I have never met him.
Best friend. We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
And said that it wasn't Nolan in the video, that it was him, and that Nolan met a girl that day that he really liked, even though he'd never, interacted with this girl before. Her name was Katie. Have you spoken to Tristan since Nolan's passing, and how are you responding to his account of what happened?
So first of all, we don't know Tristan. We've never met him. So to say, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Now, if you were to say that about Jalen or Javon, I would say absolutely. You could say that.
No, I've lost my best.
So guys, the similarities in these stories, when I say similarities, I'm talking about the Karmelo Anthony case. We just knew when we watched, and let me not say we watched it, but based on the bloggers and the reporters that were in that court, we knew that Karmelo Anthony did not get justice. Now, we didn't say that, we know what happened, but we got common sense and we know how courts run. And we knew that he was not treated fairly. But now we find out in almost a 200-page motion for a new trial that everything we thought we saw was actually correct. Okay. We know that Karmelo was railroaded and them little just lied on him. It's given the same thing. That's just what I'm feeling. I don't know why these kids are coming out almost a week and a half later with all of this bullshiggity. It seems like damage control. That's what it seems like to me. It just seems like damage control. I mean, if what you guys are saying is true, I'm just wondering, when were you going to come out and say something? It makes it hard to believe what they're saying when people are still looking for answers as it relates to what the hell happened to Nolan Wells. What happened to Nolan? And if you guys listen to these stories and what they're saying, the white tea folks is blaming Nolan for his own death, saying he should have got on a boat. Oh, it was his fault. He didn't want to get on the boat. So I don't think I've heard one take responsibility. You should have never left him. I'm not leaving my friend. The only way I'm leaving is if I speak to your parent and be like, listen, this fool won't come. I'm going to let somebody know. I'm not just going to leave. And then have y'all saw a picture of that island? It's literally surrounded by water. That's the only way in. That is the only way out. So the fact that they left their friend and making it seem like, look, he didn't want to go. That just seems like bullshit. And then if you guys get into the story, okay, they tried to make it seem like Nolan was not with them. And that is because they want to relieve themselves of responsibility. If they tell everybody, listen, Nolan left, he didn't want to go with us, guess what it does? It takes the responsibility away from them, because rightfully he is an adult. So if they say he told us to leave, he didn't want to go with us, now it doesn't, because I don't know, they could probably be charged with something for leaving him there. It's not like they left him on the side of a road or something. They left him in the middle of land surrounded by water. So, you're going to get a plane to fly you up out of here, or you're going to take a boat. Those are the only choices. So I just do not believe this when they say that he actually wanted to leave, because his parents have stated over and over again that they don't feel like there would be any way that Nolan would have actually stayed. They have stated that, they've had the conversation as it relates to, when you go with someone, make sure you stick with the people that you're with. Don't get separated. And that's absolutely correct, because That's what I teach. And even as a grown ass adult, I have people tracking me when I leave. And I know I'm grown as hell, but we never know. You know what I mean? So the fact that everybody is like, well, it's his fault. Well, they didn't say it's his fault, but ultimately what they're saying is, look, he wanted to stay with the girl. Why would he need to stay with a girl that they said is literally in the area? I mean, they live in the same area. Why would he need to stay on the island? This wasn't a girlfriend, nobody that he knew prior to. I'm just reading. I got distracted. So I want to kind of get into this interview here. Just some of it. This is another interview that they did.
And that is helping as well. I want to ask, tell me, since you've been doing these interviews, have you heard anything new? What is the latest with the local investigation that is happening alongside of independent investigation?
So I'm going to be honest, we have not heard from our local authorities since last Tuesday. And that was because I sent a text. I was like, hey, this is Christine, Nolan's mom, just wanted to get an update. We received a phone call, basically really no updates. And that was it. We've heard from no one else.
And that was important. You know, I want you guys to understand the reason why you're seeing the parents on all of these different shows is, if you guys can think back, no mainstream media was talking about this. When I say mainstream, I'm talking about NBC, ABC, CNN, you know, all of these media networks that have all the money. None of them were talking about this case. Nobody. So they recently picked it up. Do you know why? Because YouTube, I won't say everybody, but a good portion of people on YouTube were talking about it. So now all of a sudden it's on all of these major channels. They don't care about Black people and they don't value Black lives. I need y'all to understand that. If you would go back in your history and search, none of those larger medias that I just named, none of them were covering this case. There's still a man, and I'm going to put him on the screen really quickly. We won't get into it, but I want to put it on the screen. This guy right here, was it Daniels. His name is Daniels, but he was found in Lake Ray Hubbard, guys, deceased. They just arrested the white boy that was with him. But guess what he was arrested for? For covering up evidence. I can tell you this, if somebody went as far as to cover up evidence, they did the crime. Because why do you need to cover up evidence? Did you commit a crime? This boy was just arrested for covering up evidence and let out on a bond, but somebody's life is gone. They do not value Black people's lives. And it is what it is. It doesn't make me feel no kind of way. I'm over it, but you guys need to know this is the reason that the parents have to go and do all of this media stuff. Because if they don't talk about their son and what happened to their son, we probably wouldn't even know about it. Have you like I said, you didn't see this on any large media platforms prior to it being on YouTube and, Instagram and TikTok, because they just were not interested.
Wow. Mr. Crump, what's your reaction to that? Is there anything that indicates, is that abnormal for you as someone who's worked on many cases?
It certainly is, if you put it in context. I know I had the opportunity to talk with Byron Allen, and Byron and I really had a deep exchange, because we talked about, if the roles were reversed, this investigation would be handled totally different. I mean, you would have had those young men being interrogated. They would have been separated. It would have been like first 48. If you had 3 young Black men with one young white man, and that young white man ended up dead. And so what Elmore and Christine and all of us have been saying, we want a zealous investigation for our son too. We want you to do for our son what you would do for anybody's son and get to the bottom of this, because it's not adding up. And the fact that it seems like it's such a laissez-faire investigation. We take whatever.
Exactly. And we all know, if you are a Black person in a Black or brown body, you already know this. We've saw this story play over and over and over again. Over and over again. Somebody say Ben Crump just picked up Daniel Irving's case. Oh, okay. Is that the boy? I don't know if that's true. They have a lawyer, so I can't confirm that. I don't know if that's true. But anywho, you guys know that these are just things that we go through. It's not like they're making this up. If they had not come to social media with this, we probably would have missed it. Just like I just talked about the guy who drowned. Y'all, I didn't hear anything about that. Nothing. You heard nothing about that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing about it.
They say it's the gospel. We don't, press them on anything. We don't cross-examine them on anything. They say, Nolan said, I volunteer that I'm just going to stay behind. And I'm not even going to ask for my cell phone. They just take that as a grain of salt. And they know their child. They know the young person they raised. He would not have done those things, but they have articulated that over and over again. And so we have to hold everybody accountable. The local officials, the boys on the boat, everybody have to be held to account.
Everybody needs to be held accountable. I agree. Now, as it relates to this kid, Trayston Shepard. Now, I feel like he's a little bit full of shit. I feel like there is a stronger somebody or somebody's behind him that's pulling his switches.
The so-called friend of Nolan Wells who came out with that statement should not be trusted. And so stop playing in our face, because it has already been fucking established that Nolan was not staying around for a girl. The girl that you all have attempted to put it on has already debunked the bullshit. So not only are you lying, that lying ass stepmama, that's a judge, his lying ass mama, his lying ass, y'all lying ass. So miss us with that bullshit, because now it's given that they have gotten to you and told you got to feed the streets with that fake ass account. What you're doing is you are tainting the truth for coming out. So we don't need you coming forward with the bullshit if it ain't the truth. And nothing you said was the truth. All of a sudden now that's your voice. You wait a fucking week to come forward and say that is your voice on that video. Stop lying, because they got you scared. So you want to come feed us the bullshit. We ain't buying that shit. Just like we ain't buying that you was a true friend, because if you was a true friend, you would have came ahead and said that in the beginning, not now when it fits y'all fucking narrative. That block is too fucking hot. It's gonna stay hot and hot on each and one of y'all lying ass. So unless you come in with some credible fucking information, unless you want to give up who did that to Nolan, stop playing in our face. The so-called friend of Nolan Wells who came out with that statement.
Now, I have to agree, because here's the deal. I don't know what the hell these, over the phone statements, I guess if you wanted to call in and give a statement, you could have been did that. Like what is all of that about? So then he does this. He puts out this statement. To all the media outlets, please be advised that I will no longer be granting interviews to any additional reporters. My intention was to speak truthfully regarding the situation. Well, first of all, the parents have stated that they never met you, so I don't understand how you felt like Nolan was your best friend. Okay, they said they've never met you. You have never been to their home. So he probably was, a friend, somebody that you knew, but you couldn't have been his best friend. And for somebody who wanted to speak truthfully, it would have sounded more genuinely if you would have said it, over a week ago or whenever that video came up, but you let it play out. And I believe that the reason why is because they ass is getting scared. Okay. They're getting scared. I have established direct contact with the necessary individuals. Should further clarification be required to address my to address any misinformation moving forward, I will only be communicating with the two reporters with whom I currently engaged. You know, he didn't like the backlash because everybody was dragging him. So, you know, if you're giving your story, it shouldn't matter. But for some reason, he says, you know, if I decide I'm only going to talk to these two people, I apologize to anyone expecting a more extensive story. My priority remains advocating for myself, my friends, and justice for Nolan. What justice for Nolan? I mean, based on, you know, what you've said in these different stories, you say that let me just get to my notes. He said that Nolan's life was taken and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. But then he makes it seem like nothing really happened. So, you know, you really got to stick with one side of the fence, because if it's justice for Nolan, then it to me is, you know, you saying that something did happen to him. So I kind of feel like if you wanted to be upfront and you wanted to see, you know, if somebody did something to him, you wanted them to be held accountable. Why in the hell did you wait almost 2 weeks to come out with this bullshit story to say, yeah, and by the way, that was me? Yeah, I sense bullshit.
Members are pressing for answers in the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells in Mississippi. Wells disappeared during a 4th of July boat trip with a group of high school friends to an island off the Gulf Coast. Wells, who was black, was the only member of the group who did not return to the mainland. His body was found in the water days later. The friends he was traveling with are white. Authorities say there are no signs of foul play and that Wells drowned, though the investigation remains ongoing. His family is seeking an independent autopsy and calling for a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances surrounding his death.
I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home. Like that's our biggest thing.
We're joined now by the family's attorney, Ben Crump. Mr. Crump, thank you for being with us. What's the latest you've heard from state or local officials about where the investigation stands and what they believe happened to Nolan Wells?
The only thing we've heard is what was suggested at the very beginning before any forensics was done. Seemed like before any interviews or interrogation of any of the witnesses who were on the boat, and that is they don't believe it's any foul play. They think it was an accidental drowning. That has been the suggestion, and that's very troubling for Christine and Elmore, the parents of Nolan Wells, as many of us in the Black community, because we believe that they are trying to sweep this matter under the rug, especially when you think about the history of the state of Mississippi when it comes to Black people being killed in highly questionable situations and nobody ever having any accountability.
Local officials said that the friends are cooperating with the investigation. Is that true? And what explanation, if any, have his friends given for leaving the island without him?
You know, we don't know the level of cooperation the friends are engaging in, because they all have retained attorneys. But what Nolan's family and friends feel like, had the roles been reversed and that these had been 3 young Black men and there was only 1 young white man and he ended up dead, that the investigation would be much more zealous, that there would be interrogations, they would be separated, they would be held for all kinds of crimes and misdemeanors until somebody started to talk, that they would challenge the narrative that has been presented, and that being that Nolan voluntarily said he's going to stay behind, and his parents and friends outright reject that. They said that is not of Nolan's character or disposition, and had he done so, would he have ever not wanted his cell phone? We're talking about an 18-year-old kid. And so many things are troubling and conflict when they listen to these narratives, try to explain why Nolan Wells went out with them on the boat. They all came back alive, and Nolan was washed up on the shore unalive.
You shared a photo on social media that appears to show Nolan Wells at a land-based pool party in Jackson County on July 5th. We have the photo there on the screen, and there's a red circle, and he is in one of those red circles. And now this was a day before he was found dead. How does this photo call the timeline into question?
Well, so many people, and that's the thing that gives us hope that we will finally get to the truth of what really happened, because so many young people are talking and they're sharing photographs and they're sharing videos and they're calling our call center and telling us that they were on Horn Island. And so I think the photograph that you're displaying is one that was presented to Nolan's mother and to my office that we shared on social media to simply say that if people have any information about who's in this photograph, when it was taken, where they were located at when they took this photograph, it would be very helpful, because there are many things in that photograph that we think can help build to what was the atmosphere on that July 4th weekend.
There are certainly at this point more questions than answers. What does his family, what does Nolan Wells' family want the public to understand about him beyond the circumstances of his untimely death?
You know, everybody, not just his mother and father, but everybody who's talked about Nolan Wells talks about what an angel of a person he was, how he was this gifted college football player, student athlete, how he was so considerate during school that he would always try to help people, no matter who they were. They said Nolan's smile would just brighten a room. They talked about how Nolan was a person who was responsible. So that's why they dispute him saying, I'm just going to stay on the island. And when you think about the conflict and statements between the young lady he was talking to, who said he told her that he was going to get back into the boat with the boys. And then the boys said that Nolan said he was going to stay and talk with her. Obviously, the statements conflict with one another. And that's one of many contradictions and conflicts that are glaring in this case. And so we're just trying to ferociously search for the truth.
Attorney Ben Crump, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate it.
Someone put in the chat, do I think that it was evidence in the car? Here's the deal. We don't know what evidence was where, because the police didn't do shit. They continue to say that they're still conducting an investigation, which I understand. But baby, do you understand how much critical evidence they have lost at this point? So I don't know. I can't say that they didn't get, court orders for these boys' cell phones. I can't say that they didn't do that, but it don't appear that they're doing shit. I mean, is it normal for the, police or the sheriff or whoever they call themselves to say, oh, this looked like a drowning, no foul play? I mean, why would you say that? Shouldn't you say we're conducting an investigation? Why was nobody arrested? Why was their phone never confiscated? Why was there no search warrant to their properties, to their homes? What are we doing here? Somebody disappeared that you last saw, that was last with you, and they wind up unalive, and then you got their phone, you got their car, and then it's not like you voluntarily gave it to the family. They literally had to come looking for it. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Something about that story just don't add up. I don't care what nobody say. The story does not add up. If the so-called fake ass friends, because listen, with friends like this, you don't need enemies. If they had to act differently, maybe we would have believed this. You know why the story is unbelievable? Because the shit that they told us don't make sense. So you want us to believe that a teenager left their phone. They take the phones to the bathroom. They real nasty when it comes to these phones. And listen, I don't even touch, especially my sons, I don't touch their phone. Y'all take y'all phone in the bathroom. No, yuck. They don't depart. They sleep with their phones. They sleep with the phones, okay? Like, it's real crazy when it comes to these phones and these young people. Because I be telling them, I'm like, why won't you, Like you got a dresser. Like, why you just put your phone on a dresser? Like, why do you need to sleep with it? I have a dresser. I put my phone on my dresser or even my nightstand. It really don't need to get in the bed with me. But this is what they do with their phones. They put their phones in their bed. Let me block this honky because I know that's who you are. So I'm just gonna block you. You're mammy, and I bet your daddy is a pedo. So let me just ban JP. What's this idiot name? Because I know he needs JP Sportman. Go suck one, okay? Okay, and leave them kids alone. Okay, fuck up out of here. Why do people come here just to get cussed out? Like, take your hopes out of here. The only one got a low IQ is your mammy and your daddy. Okay? Your white trash. All right, so back to what I was saying. Because I already know who that is. They the only one that do weird ass shit like that. That it's just that's who they are. And if you think you finna come over here, you finna get cussed out. Play with your mammy. So we just don't believe this. We don't believe this. This is nothing but a bunch of racist people that's covering up for a bunch of thugs, white tea honkies. Okay, that's what it is. It is what it is. We've saw this. You know, this is the thing about these dumb white tees. They just real dumb because they use the same talking points. They play victim. They play victim, okay? They're always the victim. That's what they do. Then they go and try to get Black people to be on their side because then it makes it believable. It's the same play. They did the same thing with Karmelo Anthony. They so dumb. Come up with something different. This is how you know they stupid and slow. The same play over. They use the same playbook over and over again. Who gives somebody their phone? I got two. I got two phones. See, here go my two phones. This one I don't use, never use it, but it still be with me, okay? Nobody is giving somebody their damn phone. Nobody. So when somebody put in the chat, do I think that it was something in the phone? I mean, I don't know, because I feel like it could have been a combination of multiple things. But I also feel like because the police failed to act, they lost a lot of evidence. You know, and people always want to talk shit about Ben Crump. But listen, Ben Crump is a smart ass, okay? He's intelligent, unlike these dumb white tea folks. He is highly intelligent, okay? Ben Crump knew before he started doing what he was doing 20-something years ago, he knew that Black folks was being treated unfairly. So what did he do? He became a civil rights lawyer. That is smart, people. He used something that was already happening, wasn't going to stop, and he said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, regardless of why he do it. That was smart, because you always want to be in a profession that you're going to be able to get people that you're going to be able, you're going to have to help. Now, I don't know what y'all know about Ben Crump, honey, but you know, if you ever need a loan, you reach out to Ben Crump. I know it was and I don't follow Ben Crump like that, but I know recently he just sued, I think it was Google, for $50 million. Ben Crump is the man. Now, if you don't know what Ben Crump do, this is what Ben Crump does. He's not collecting evidence for a lawsuit. As I have stated before and in previous videos, nothing that Ben Crump collects is going to put anybody in jail. Ben Crump's collection of evidence is strictly for a civil suit. I just want y'all to understand that. Ben Crump does not have the authority to put anybody in jail. The only people who can put somebody in jail is the government, whether it be the state or the federal. Whatever evidence that Ben Crump collects, they probably won't even use his evidence. So I want you guys to understand, Ben Crump is collecting evidence to prove his case. His case, or the evidence that he collects, is not going to benefit the police because I'm sure they won't even use it.
It's about what you do as an attorney.
You know, it's amazing the times we live in, Natasha, because, you know, 20 years ago, Black people would have no chance at justice. The local authorities would not charge anybody. Nothing would happen. And nobody got to bring civil actions for Black life in America. And it was this phenomenon that we have kind of created. I call it the legacy of Trayvon Martin, where we started talking about the value of Black life, where we started talking about the lived experiences of Black mothers and Black fathers when their children are taken from them in just unbelievable ways. And so our role is to come in first as a civil rights, civil trial lawyer. The Constitution says that under the 7th Amendment, if you feel that you have been wrong.
Did somebody just put in the chat, civil suits only award monetary compensation? I'm glad you Googled that, sweetheart. We already knew that. We know what we're talking about.
If you have been grieved, then you have a right to not try to go fight the battles out in the streets, but to come in the court of law and say, based on the 7th Amendment, I have a right to civil justice. What is civil justice? It's any kind of justice that will not go up to the point where you can imprison somebody, arrest somebody, take their liberty. Only the government can do that. And for far too often in America, the government has failed us in equal justice under the law.
So you are correct. Somebody says civil suits only award monetary compensation. If you don't get the hell out of here, Anthony, we know that already. Anthony, are you okay? We know that. That is the only thing Ben Crump can do. Ben Crump cannot force the district attorney to issue charges on anybody. I hope you understand that is why he sues, because the people are not being, their civil rights are being violated. So that he can't, yeah, I know, you know, y'all wish that he could, but he can't. I mean, unfortunately, guys, you know, nobody want to lose their kid, their cousin, their mama. Nobody wants to lose anybody. But unfortunately, where we live, if you're wrong, you have the right to sue. And that's really your only recourse. The district attorney is the only one who can charge somebody. They're the only one who can bring charges. They are the only ones. Now, I want to get into, because there's been so much speculation about so many things as it relates to this case. And I want us to not forget about what we know happened, okay? The things that we know about this case is why people believe that their ass is guilty, okay? Keeping someone's phone, the mother not knowing because you did not come forward and tell her. They literally had to chase your ass down for the phone, okay? So that piece. Then we got the keys, you holding on to the keys. And then I don't know if you guys recall, but I'm sure you probably have by now. They didn't even stay. There would be no way in hell that my friend is missing and I done left the island and went home. Oh, I'm just gonna have to stay here then, because we got to find my friend. They left. They left him there. Remember, these are families who have access to boats. The mother didn't go out there. The father, how dare you? Do y'all understand that there were adults that was on these boats? They were on the boats. They didn't care. That should tell you something, because I believe that they knew what had happened to Nolan. I mean, if you know somebody is deceased, are you gonna go back and look for him? Hell no. I mean, they gone. I believe, now I'm not saying that it's confirmed, but I believe this is why them boys wasn't concerned, because they had knew it already.
Pieces and parts of who we had conversations with. I will say this is that I don't believe any of the friends stayed.
And
None of them stayed. Not one, not a half of one, not a quarter of one. They left. But this is somebody that you love because, you know, that judge with her lying ass, that lying ass stepmom. Oh, we love Nolan. Girl, go sit down. I want the kind of love that you show me, not the kind of love that you tell me. They left him. Nobody stayed. Even the parents went back out. They could have said, oh, I want to ride with you. Nobody, y'all. This is not cool. I believe something happened to him. And as somebody put in the chat, we know this already. Who goes and get an attorney when your friend comes up dead? And didn't they get those attorneys before, though? What's the reason? Why do you need an attorney? Well, I know why you would need an attorney. Somebody said, check my email. I'm about to block some of y'all for real. I'm glad you brought that up. Let me detour. Some of y'all send like 20 emails a day of nothing, and I'm going to start blocking y'all. Y'all literally be sending me videos talking about, oh, here go Nolan. That ain't even Nolan. I'm finna start blocking some of y'all for real on my email. Some of y'all sending me like 30 emails a day, and it is literally nothing. Y'all sending me YouTube links. Why y'all sending me YouTube links of other people's videos telling me to watch them? I'm gonna start blocking some of y'all, okay? I just want y'all to know. I don't mind y'all sending me stuff, but some of y'all sending me like 20 emails a day. Anyway, it's not even the stuff you sending me. I'm just like, are you just sending me links or are you even looking at this stuff? So just wanted to get that out because y'all sending me garbage. Now, if you want to send me stuff, but what are you even sending me? Like, seriously. But as it relates to this particular case, this is why everybody is saying that they ass is guilty. It is simply because of their actions immediately following this friend that they love so much. We ain't stupid. None of this adds up. You didn't stay. Ben Crump is still saying that they had multiple people that reached out and they said that there was an altercation. I believe there was an altercation. I do believe that. These kids are suspicious. Now, also, I do believe this, guys. I want y'all to understand this too. I do believe that there is an attempt to put out fake stories and cause confusion. We've saw it on the internet. Or 50% of the story is true, but the other 50% is a lie. And we also saw this in the Karmelo Anthony case. One thing I want y'all to understand about these white tea folks, they do the same thing. It's the same gameplay. They put out false stories. They go get a black person to say what they're saying is true. They play victim. It's the same old play. The same play.
What did you know about Nolan's disappearance when you first got that call? Did you know of anything beforehand?
Just basic information, stuff that I gathered off of social media, as well as information from the mother. Nothing that was super relevant to finding Nolan or to searching for Nolan. Just information that he got left on the island, left or he wasn't there. Possibly, you know, hopefully, and as we prayed that he may have made it onto another boat. So what we do is we gather information, right? We gather as much information as possible. We then blast it out to social media. We've got a huge following, and this one went extremely viral to ask for help. You know, the more people that.
Now, the interesting part, I'm just thinking about stuff as I'm watching this. What did they put on their social medias when Nolan was missing? What did they do? They deactivated their pages. Isn't that interesting? Your friend is missing. You don't know where your friend is, and you go and deactivate your page. How weird is that? You don't use your page to say, hey, you know, Nolan is missing. You go and deactivate your page. That is some bullshit right there. Shout out to No Captivity with 𝐟𝐸ZY. 𝐟𝐸ZY said, I get 1,000 emails a day. Man, and I don't even care about the emails, but some of the stuff y'all be sending, I be like, are you serious? Like, and then it'd be like, boom, boom, boom. Like one person, she'll send me an email like every 5 minutes. And I'll just be like, girl, what is this? And then she sent me a picture and she was like, oh, watch this Nolan. Did you watch this? This ain't no damn Nolan. So if y'all don't stop, y'all be tripping for real. 𝐟𝐸𝐳𝐫 say y'all do the same thing to him. That's why I had to give a different email, because I'm like, look, that's really my personal email. Like, I can't really find my stuff because y'all sending stuff. Now, I don't mind y'all sending stuff. It's cool, but why you gotta send like 20, like one person to send like 20 emails? Look at this, boom, 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 boom. Bro, can you stop? So now I got a quick look at it. If it's something good, I keep it. If not, I got to delete it because y'all filling up my inbox. Like, come on now. I mean, and the stuff, and then y'all send me all these YouTube videos as if I didn't already see them. I'm like, what do they think I be doing all day? Looking for stuff to talk about. A lot of the stuff I appreciate it, but some of the stuff y'all be sending, I'm like, come on now. Okay, Adrian Jones. If he was coming back with others, where they at? Right. That's a good question too, to think about it. Where are the people that he was coming back with? I didn't even think about it like that. Erica, can you show the interview of J-Von with his mom? I will try to, but I kind of had it already planned here of what I was going to show, but I'll try. I will definitely try.
See something, they could possibly say something. So we actually, at the time of him being found, we had people in the air, we had boats on the water, we had boots on the ground, on land, on the mainland as well, looking in 3 different locations where people had said he may have been seen that day, that evening before, or that evening he came up missing. So we take into account everything, every tip, every, hey, go look here. We do that. We do it because we want to make sure we're providing all the resources that we possibly can, checking everything out, and letting the family know that, hey, every life matters to us. You know, it doesn't matter race, creed, color, religion, nationality. I don't care. We want to make sure that every family understands we're putting every bit of effort into it.
Did the search effort shift in any way after the 24-hour period when Nolan was still not found?
No, we remained steady with our search and our operations. We coordinated with the local Jackson County Sheriff's Office. We let them know what our grid pattern was. We sent them our grid in our search areas, and we coordinated with them. Again, we notified them and let them know that we would be in the area, in the air, as well as on the ground in multiple locations.
Were the members of the Cajun Navy on the island when the body believed to be Noah was found? And are you able to disclose any details on the whereabouts of the body?
So I would rather not disclose any of the details. It is an open investigation.
So I don't understand why he couldn't say, were y'all asked there when the body was found? It just, I mean, that's not really telling anything about the investigation. You see what I'm saying? Who found the body? Listen, look, y'all, now I'm telling y'all, this ain't verified. I'm not saying I found this anywhere, but I believe that they put his body back there. I mean, that's just my thoughts. Simply, y'all, because the parents state that they had already left. Why wasn't the body there then? It just came back, you know, the next day. This story don't add up. Listen, we was born on a day, just not yesterday.
We were not on the island. We were in the air.
And from your understanding, was the body...
So I think he just, wait a minute, y'all may have to rewind this because I think he probably just confirmed that, no, he wasn't there when the body was found. Let me rewind it.
Believed to be Noah was found, and are you able to disclose any details on the whereabouts of the body?
So I would rather not disclose any of the details. It is an open investigation. We were not on the island. We were in the air.
And from your understanding...
Okay, so I think he confirmed it then. So he wasn't on the island when the body was found. Okay, I believe that.
Was the body, again, believed to be Noah? Was it found in the same area as where the 18-year-old was last seen?
As I appreciate it, was within close proximity to that northwest corner of the island. Again, I can't...
So, not. I mean, if you wanted to give these people the benefit of the doubt, you just couldn't. Like, because it's like you couldn't be this damn dumb. Like, in all honesty, I really want to believe that at least the young adults wouldn't do this to their own friend. But I just don't see it, y'all. I feel like something happened. Something happened. And I feel like they left them. I mean, even if you look at the reports, they said, you know, our friend is out there at wasn't it like 10 or 11 o'clock at night or something? What sense do that make? It's almost like they knew something had happened to him and probably figured out, listen, we gotta call this in, because if we don't, we're going to look suspicious. Oh, that's right. You are so right. I forgot it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. You're right. A park ranger found them. Thank you. You are so right. I almost forgot it. But this guy, he didn't say it at first, but he kind of backpedaled and said it. You are so right. I forgot about that. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different, you know, turns to this story that it's just like, okay, but even, you know, in his conversation, why he just couldn't say no? But you're right. The park ranger found him. Just suspicious.
I don't want to get into specifics. There's, again, it's an open investigation.
And how has social media helped the Cajun Navy in their search and rescue missions or operations?
United Cajun Navy, whenever we get notified of a person missing, typically it's through social media. People understand who we are, they recognize us, and they'll reach out to us through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. We turn around, we utilize those platforms to help get the word out on whoever it is that's missing, right? So I'll start with a quick narrative of who it is, last known location, what they.
So basically, I love what somebody just put in the chat. It's kind of going a little bit fast. This is one of the reasons too why we know something happened. They took no accountability. Did anybody see any accountability, or even them saying, well, he did say that he was going with his friend, but we shouldn't have left him. No accountability. This is how you know something happened to him. I don't believe he just said, oh, okay, I'm going to stay here. His family done already told you. Even Javon did an interview recently, and Javon said, no, he wouldn't have left. He wouldn't have stayed there. I wish I can show you guys a picture of the island. It's surrounded by water. So if you don't have a boat, I don't know why anybody would be like, okay, I'm just going to chill out here. Let me see what that question was. It kind of went fast. Didn't the mom say Warren called her at 11 p.m.? Yeah, saying Nolan was missing. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Why? So you just thought he was missing at 11 p.m.? Now, I don't remember if it was actually Warren. I don't remember who she said called her, or, you know, exactly the name, but it was late. And I guess I don't understand. I mean, if hell, he wasn't missing all day, what made you think he was missing at 11 o'clock?
We're wearing, if they're going through a mental health crisis, if they may have been in a fight with their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, whatever pertinent information is there that can help us spread the word. Tattoos, height, weight, clothing. From there, I build this narrative, and then I make a poster, a missing persons poster that's got all that information on it with as many pictures as possible. And then I do a video. The video will explain, and every one of them's heartfelt. Hey, we're looking for Israel. He came up missing. It's super important that we find him. His family is absolutely upset and, you know, distraught, might be going through a mental health crisis, whatever it is. I list it out there, and I do it with a lot of emotion, and it's true emotion, sincere. We put that out on multiple platforms, and then the tips.
Now, this is a good question. Auntie Mickey, the YT boy said he was missing, but they said he stayed behind to kick it with that girl. Why didn't they think he was with her? Well, here's the deal. Remember, they did say that, but that girl said no, it was more so a hi and bye. And she said, he was like, I gotta go. I gotta get back on my boat. So first of all, I think that was just something that they said. And that's why too, it makes me think, did something happen to him on that damn boat? That maybe they throw him overboard? I don't know. Something happened. And then at 11 p.m. or late, they said, okay, we need to call. I don't know. And then now that I'm thinking, no, I don't think they threw him in the water, because again, the parents went back to to see what was going on or whatever they could find, and the body wasn't there. So I feel like they just put his body there. That's just my thoughts. Okay, that's what I think.
Could start coming in. Here you go. Look, I'm not law enforcement. I'm a volunteer. It's a volunteer organization. We just want to bring these people home. So social media is a huge piece. Again, I don't care how it happens. I don't care how we find these people, as long as they're found and reunited with their family, one way or the other, right? We hope to find them all alive. Unfortunately, that always doesn't happen that way. So social media is a huge tool. And then it's good old just boots on the ground, canvassing the area, canvassing that last known location, talking to people, and really building relationships with them, no matter who it is.
Now, here's the deal. Somebody said, I believe the pool story. Let me just explain to you guys the pool story. We have all saw that video about the pool. The interesting thing about the pool and the real thing about the pool, remember, we can only deal with the stuff we know that's real. There's a lot of fake stuff. That was a real picture. Remember, it was posted. So if you guys post on Instagram, it automatically goes to Threads. Some people don't know that. So what he did was he deleted it. The post was deleted, but he forgot to delete it from Threads. I'm sure I got a bunch of shit on Threads because I never really go over there, but I don't think he was aware. The post was found on Threads. That was a real picture. Now, listen to this, y'all. The narrative is that was an old picture. I will question, why are you posting an old picture at that time of the evening about your friend? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could have been an old picture, but if it was an old picture, why not leave it up there? I mean, a lot of times somebody will reminisce about their friends, especially, if the person is missing or something like that. So I didn't think that it was strange that, you would post a picture. I think that it was strange that you deleted the picture. The island is just like the Crab Island in Florida. It's not deep. This is definitely a distraction to get us off the Karmelo case. What? Girl, what is you talking about? How is this a distraction? This is real. Who off the Karmelo case? I don't know, girl. What is you talking about?
I'm going into that community and saying, hey, we're just a volunteer group trying to bring this person home. What do you know? What do you think? And a lot of times that helps us out. The one thing Israel is, the families. It's interesting because the families always ask the mom and the dad, what's your gut feeling telling you? And more often than not, that mother's intuition is spot on.
Y'all heard that right. Y'all heard that right. The mother's intuition is spot on. The mother don't believe these people. She don't believe them. And I don't believe she's just somebody that's not accepting that her son passed away. It is what has happened immediately after. Like, y'all, we ain't dumb. None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. Even the way the parents have acted. Y'all do know that when people are guilty, even when they try to not act guilty, they just can't help themselves. He said the mother's intuition is spot on. Why would y'all think he said that?
And they'll tell you after I build a relationship with the mother, particularly, they know what happened to that loved one. And again, the one thing I can ask for the viewers that are out there, say prayers, right?
The mother knows what happened.
Prayers mean so much right now. and in everything we do. And I told the family, number one, keep the case alive. Let's make sure that media and that the general public know exactly what's going on, because it is an open investigation, and the truth needs to come out on exactly what happened, because there's a lot of assumptions right now. And I think the general public, as well as the family, truly need to know what happened that day, and what happened to Nolan, what brought it to this situation. So thank you so much for having us. And
What happened to Nolan? I think it's a group of people that think every damn thing is a distraction. What ain't a distraction? What do you mean when you say it's a distraction? I think that's a word that people use and don't really know what the hell they're talking about. This is a real case of a man that lost his life, and you say it's a distraction? I have no idea what you're talking about. Now, let's get into this other video. Now, remember, guys, we talked about your lungs being filled with water. If your lungs are not filled with water, I'm not sure how you drowned, okay? As a matter of fact, I believe, well, no, I don't believe, I know it's impossible to drown if your lungs are not filled with water. There is a report that said that his lungs wasn't filled with water, but again, we'll find out once we get the actual autopsy. But in order for a person to die, their lungs is going to be waterlogged, which means you can't breathe. We are humans. We're not a fish. We cannot breathe if we have water in our lungs. You know, the more water, you know what I mean? That's how we die, because we can't breathe. We drown. You know, that's how that happens. So let's get into this video.
Statement that Brian Trasher said that it didn't appear that Nolan Wells' body was waterlogged. Okay. And he said it, okay? Now, he did say he was 300 feet or something in the air, and it just didn't appear to him that he was waterlogged, but he mentioned it. So if he mentioned it, he must know he do this all the time. So I just want to talk about that specific thing, because when I looked up waterlogged and what it actually means, it was interesting to me, because how could a body be in that body of water in July and not be waterlogged if it had really been in there for that amount of time? Okay, so I'm going to read my findings. Okay, so when a person drowns, the lungs fill with water, okay? So their body sinks almost immediately. It stays down there until decomposition kicks in. Bacteria in the body starts producing gases, the torso inflates like a balloon, and the body rises back to the surface. In the warm July Gulf water, that takes about 1 to 3 days. Now, it also says when that body comes back up, it comes up face down. Why? Because the gas collects in the chest and belly, and the head, arms, and legs hangs down in the water. So was Nolan found face down? If he was, that matches a drowning, but he was in there long enough to have been waterlogged. So being underwater does not save you from the water damage. It does not save your body from the water damage, okay? So if he sank on Saturday and came up Monday, that's 48 hours of his skin sitting in warm water. His hands and feet should have shown it, and badly, okay? But according to the Cajun Navy guy, he wasn't waterlogged. So then I was thinking, well, maybe he wasn't submerged in the water. Maybe he was just like, his body was just like sitting on the top, like in a floating position. So let's say that he didn't sink. Maybe he floated the whole time. First, that's rare. So it says, say he floated face down for 2 days, his face, his chest, his hands, his feet, all in the water the entire time. And the hands and feet are exactly where waterlogging shows first and worst. So floating doesn't fix anything. Skin in water is skin in water, even if it is not submerged and it's just on top. So that leaves two things for us to believe. Either Brian Trasher is lying, and why would he lie? I don't think he's lying. Or the body was not in that water from July 4th to the 6th.
Looking at the remains. Yeah, I saw the body from about 300 feet in the air, but so I wouldn't be able to tell you like exact condition. I can tell you that it did not appear to be waterlogged. It was only in the water for a couple days.
All right,
So I don't know what your thoughts is on that, but you know, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll wait until the autopsy comes out, but if he's not waterlogged, I'm not sure how he, how he drowned. Somebody put in the chat the picture. Where's that picture at? Let me see if I can find it. I think I have it here. Let me put it back on the screen. Let me see here. I mean, let me put it back up here so y'all can see it. Let's see if I can find it. I got so many dang on pictures. So the picture that they were referring to was the picture with I'm laughing because I get what y'all saying, but somebody said they didn't like that picture with the boy with his hands on Nolan's legs. I mean, I don't know. People relationships is, I don't know, different. Maybe, they didn't, I mean, I don't know. But I understand what you're saying, but I can't really comment on that because everybody relationship is different. I mean, where somebody else may be like, that look weird. Another person may be like, okay, it's cool. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't want to jump to conclusions. Like, I don't know. But I'm trying to find that picture so I can put it on the screen here. Right here. Here we go, right here. Here's one of them right here. So I know when I first saw it, I was like, what is that? But I mean, I don't think it's nothing. I mean, if you think about it, they're sitting on the kind of the edge of the boat. He probably was, trying to hold himself up. I don't know, but I didn't think it was, I don't know what y'all think. I mean, I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't want to, start picking stuff apart that really didn't matter. So I didn't really say anything about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess. Now, one of the things we do know, y'all, is, and again, this adds to the suspicious. These folks on the screen, and it could be more. These were just, some of the ones that I was able to grab. They've all made their pages private. These were people who had pictures of Nolan on their profile, and either they deleted it or they made their profiles private. Now, tell me, your friend passes away and you go delete pictures, make your profiles private. It's suspicious. You go hire an attorney. All of this is suspicious. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Yeah, it's speculation, but it's suspicious because so let's just think about it for a second. If I didn't do nothing wrong, why am I taking down pictures? Why am I making my profile private? Why am I hiring an attorney? Come on now, y'all. We don't just do these things unless there's something else to it. And we don't know if we're going to be found out. We don't know if we're going to get caught. So we go get a lawyer because we don't know what to say and what not to say, because we could say the wrong thing and land our ass in jail. So the fact, y'all got to understand too, that stepmama is a judge. Now, if y'all don't know, all a judge is a lawyer. That's really much all they are. They're an elected judge, but their background is in law. They got a law degree. First thing they did was go and hire a lawyer. You know why? Because the lawyer, you cannot question that person. You got to reach out to their lawyer. Everything got to go through the lawyer. Now, you could call a lawyer and be like, I'm going to pick them up. But obviously, if they arrest them, obviously, they don't have to call a lawyer. But because they're represented by a lawyer, the lawyer is really who you're supposed to go to, of course, unless you're going to, arrest their ass. Now, there is an attorney that is all over social media. He's actually he's here in Atlanta, as a matter of fact. And he is saying that this is some bullshiggity. This is some bullshiggity. And he feels like there should be an arrest. Okay, this is Carlos Moore.
That may be interested in having them come on in. I want to have a discussion with you tonight because, as I said the other day, enough is enough. It's time for justice, and we need justice now. Justice can no longer wait. So I want to give you my unfiltered opinion tonight, And so been several new developments, several new allegations that deserve to be investigated. And they need to be investigated by those with jurisdiction, and there needs to be.
Okay, we got to take a little stop because, you know, y'all got to like the video. Now, I be forgetting. I'm going to have to set my timer because y'all be all up in here sipping all the good information, but y'all don't even be liking the video. And remember, I said it's 3 ways that you can support the channel. All you got to do is like the video. If everybody liked the video, that will be great. But I know y'all ass ain't going to like the video. All you got to do is hit the thumbs up. Now, if you ain't liking the video, let me put my Cash App in there, okay? Because you can just send the cash, okay? I'm going to put the Cash App in here because when you like the video, what you do is you push the video throughout YouTube's algorithm. If you don't like the video, people see the video. It just is a longer process. So all I need everybody to do now is like the video. You just hit the thumbs up, share the video. Now, I know 20% of the people done it because that's just what the people do. Why y'all like this?
Concurrent investigations going on in the search for truth for the matter involving the death of Nolan Wells. So let's get started. This morning, most of us awoke to the news that there is an allegation that Nolan Wells may have actually arrived on the mainland after leaving Horn Island. There is an allegation by a person who's named in the photo that says that he was spotted at a house, at a pool party, and it is believed that that picture may have been taken sometime shortly before 1 a.m. And it is believed, if the allegation is correct, that that pool party may have been in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And so now we believe that based on that allegation, not only does the Jackson County Sheriff's Department have jurisdiction to investigate the death of Nolan Wells, now the Ocean Springs Police Department has jurisdiction to investigate the death of Nolan Wells. And so I am hereby calling on the Ocean Springs Police Chief and the Ocean Springs Municipal Prosecutor to do their jobs. There should be concurrent investigations going on. If the Jackson County Sheriff's Department.
Somebody said almost 500 likes. Okay, y'all, we about to go on a break. Y'all playing with me. We'll be back in a second. All right, y'all, we back now. Y'all want to act right now. I hope y'all done like the video. Okay, let's continue.
It believes it has jurisdiction. It should continue to do its investigation, because we do know that part of this investigation involves things that happen off the Gulf Coast, about 10 miles off the Gulf Coast. So all of the appropriate agencies should be investigating. But the new development is that he was allegedly spotted at a home with the pool of one of his friends. And it's a very specific person that says that she saw this. I've never talked to the person, but that person needs to be spoken to. And there are several people identified in the photograph that needs to be spoken to, that was in the that attended the pool party, and we can get down to the bottom of whether or not Nolan Wells made it back to land. How did he get to land? Who did he ride with? What time he arrived at the pool party? There are some disturbing things that happened at the pool party, according to this alleged witness. But while I don't know the veracity of the allegations, I do know now that the Ocean Springs Police Department should have jurisdiction to investigate, because it would have happened within the municipal boundaries. That's, if I have heard correctly, that the young men were graduates of Ocean Springs High School, so they could not be.
I do have a question for you guys, because again, we don't really know what happened, but we want to know. That's why we're here. How many people, by a show of putting a 1 in the chat, how many of you all think that he actually left the island and possibly something happened to him after? I'm gonna put a 1 in the chat, because I feel like, without having any evidence, obviously I don't have any evidence, but if you feel like he left the island and something happened to him wherever he went and they brought his body back, put a 1 in the chat. Now, I think that something happened to him off the island. I feel like if something happened to him there were people. Now, I know they say that you can't spend a night on this particular island, but the parents say that there were actually people that did. So I don't know how they snuck and was able to stay there, but they said that it was people that were there, and they said that they hadn't saw him. So I don't believe that he stayed on the island.
Students at Ocean Springs High School at any time if they were not residents of Ocean Springs. So that's how I've concluded that Ocean Springs Police Department should have jurisdiction now to investigate. At the same time, I'm calling on the Jackson County District Attorney to be investigating. The District Attorney has its own investigative staff, or should have, and they should be investigating. The District Attorney does not have to wait on Jackson County Sheriff's Department or the Ocean Springs Police Department. It can do its concurrent investigation, and it could present the matter to a grand jury at any time once it feels it has determined gathered enough information. So 3 different law enforcement agencies is what I'm calling on to do their jobs. If the young lady that has gone on Facebook's allegations are correct, there should be arrest this week for assault. She has recounted that she witnessed an assault, and she was very specific in naming the 3 individuals who did the assault on Nolan Wells. And she also told who videoed the assault, and she told what that individual videoing was saying while the assault was going on. She's also named an adult that allegedly had all the young people to get out of the pool and leave her home in the early morning hours of July the 5th. So that adult needs to be questioned. Every person that's identified in that pool should be questioned. It's not rocket science, but there are allegations of assault, and there's allegations of a witness, and those allegations need to be.
And here's another thing, guys. Some people, I don't know if they do this because they don't want to be identified, is they'll tell you some truth mixed with a lie. Now, I don't know if this person that came out is telling the truth, but I do know this. That's a crime. So if this person is saying that they did not witness any of the stuff that they witnessed, why they ain't being charged? Okay, because this person is saying that they witnessed these things. I don't know. I kind of feel like the police is trying to cover up some shit themselves, because this is a lot of information to say that you witnessed this and to say that it ain't true. Because if you are lying and messing up a real investigation, you should be arrested. Auntie Mickey, 1962, he was brought back. People were on the island looking for him. And a family spent the night. Exactly. Now, you're right, Auntie Mickey, because that's what the parents, mom and dad, says. There was a family. I don't remember if they said it was a few families or a family, but they definitely said that they spent the night there. Sure did. Nobody spotted his body when all those feet were on the ground. That part. That's why I believe that they brought his body back there.
Further developed and investigated. There's also allegation that everyone left that home, most of the young people.
Okay, somebody said 2 families, 2 votes. Yep, that's what I heard. I heard them say it was I don't remember if they said a couple or multiple, but you're right. It was 2 families. So it wasn't just one family that stayed overnight. So, okay, one person, maybe you didn't see it, but 2 people, he wasn't on that island. He was not on that island.
People left the home. They did not live there except Nolan Wells. And when she left, there was, he was leaning over the pool and blood was coming from his mouth. So that is a very specific allegation that deserves to be looked into. So I'm asking and really demanding that the Ocean Springs Police Department does its job and start a concurrent investigation. Justice can no longer wait. Justice has been delayed long enough. And so I am straight out of patience at this point, straight out of patience. And various crimes have been alleged. And at this point, there needs to be some arrest this week for the crimes that's been alleged and sufficiently alleged. You have eyewitness accounts of some things. And the police does not have to have a affidavit from the people that are making the allegations. They have to be interviewed by the police, and the police can sign an affidavit and take it to a judge and get the warrant for arrest. So we are asking law enforcement to simply do their jobs, get the arrest warrants for those crimes that you know that there's probable cause that a crime has been committed already. We do believe that this week will be the week that the autopsy report come out. We are now on day 8 since the alleged, since the disappearance of Nolan Wells. And so there's been sufficient time for the autopsies to be done, if the information I've heard is correct, and we should learn the results of those autopsy reports. I would expect this week that there should be a lot of movement in this case. Once the autopsy reports are revealed, I believe that should lead us where we go from here. But the witness today that says that he was in the pool said that he was assaulted. Also said there was another argument about the phone not being in his possession, someone taking his phone and not giving it back. That needs to be investigated, and someone should be arrested for theft or larceny, or the simple larceny, grand larceny. Someone should be arrested, or some people should be arrested for assault, if that is a true allegation from that witness and then those others that were witnessing it. But to continue not to follow these leads and not to make an arrest, it is unacceptable at this point. It's simply unacceptable. We know and we have accepted it to be true for so long that when the...
How many of y'all think it's unacceptable? I think it's past damn unacceptable. Past unacceptable. In fact, it's disrespectful, okay? Let me just show y'all something to how you can kind of know that these folks don't really give a damn about Black folks, okay? So not only is it disrespectful, it's just they don't care, and they're showing that they don't care. Okay, now keep in mind the sheriff's department or the police, whoever is over this investigation, they have already put out a premature statement basically saying, oh, looks like no foul play here. Looks like he drowned. Now, this is despite the parents saying that this young man can swim. He's an athlete in shape, but they're going to keep with this narrative. But now they tell us, let's get into it. Nolan Wells' case, the sheriff says he won't be rushed. Isn't that a disrespectful thing to say? What you mean you won't be rushed? You won't be rushed. Karmelo Anthony was jumped by some white T boys in the state of in the state of Texas. They have a law that if multiple people jump you and if you protecting yourself, it's something called like the multiple assailant something. But to sum it up, we know what happened to Karmelo Anthony, okay? Karmelo Anthony didn't leave there and go home, okay? He left there and went to jail. So for the sheriff to have such a nasty disposition about a mother and a father whose son basically was hanging out with his friends and just came up unalived, it kind of sets the tone for what we may be, what's going to be expected here, or what's going to happen, because I don't feel like they're going to do nothing. I feel like at this point, they're holding on because they did not know that the family would get this independent autopsy. Now that they know they're doing it, what y'all think they're doing now? I feel like they're holding on to see what the family's autopsy is going to say. If y'all watched my live yesterday, we talked about, the medical examiner. She has a poor and a sketchy ass record, especially when it comes to Black folks, ruling that Black people died of, what is the word that I want to use? I don't know the exact word that was used when I read it yesterday, but basically the Black person was suffocated by the police because they threw this person down, laid on them for 10 minutes. They couldn't breathe. So it was really asphyxiation. But instead of her naming it that so that the police can be charged, she said it was undetermined. So a history. This is a history. So with the sheriff coming out making a statement like this, it's very interesting. The Nolan police probe will not be rushed, as investigators are now working with prosecutors to figure out what exactly happened in the mysterious death of the teen. This is according to the Mississippi sheriff in charge. Y'all, again, we was born on a day, just not yesterday. Why in the hell would you need to work with the prosecutor to determine what happened, you idiot? You would go and interview people and start to piece the story together. I'm not sure what the prosecutors would know about what happened to Nolan. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter told ABC News on Monday that it's essential for his investigators not to be put on a timetable and rushed by people who are clamoring for answers. Did not somebody just lose their life clamoring for answers? Who? What? Again, they took Karmelo Anthony from the stadium right to jail. He never even went home. Okay. Ledbetter also called for anyone with information to provide it to his investigators so they can get to the bottom of this puzzling case. Well, Ledbetter, hopefully you watch this video. You go to hell, okay? Because one of those kids there, I think it was Javon, said that you hadn't even talked to him. This is Nolan's best friend, confirmed by his mother that this was his best friend. You didn't even talk to him. And Javon was so confused. Javon was like, well, I don't need to talk to him. Yes, Javon, baby, you were there. They should speak to everybody. So it's very interesting that you lying, saying that get in contact with you when you ain't getting in contact with the damn people that were there. But wait a minute. I'm not going to read all of that. Okay, because we already know what happened to Nolan. So, yeah, so it's very, very interesting. Let's see what Ben Crump is saying. Oh, I don't know why I clicked that. So, again, more disrespect. There could have been a better way to put that, but frankly, when you don't give a damn, at some point you show that you don't give a damn, because there is no way that you care about this case and you still putting shit together. When this happened, critical point was between 24 to 48 hours. We're going into weeks. And you still don't know what happened, you idiots.
Roles are reversed. There's an immediate arrest. And no one jumps up and down in those instances when there are immediate arrests. The persons just simply go through the system. And no one cries that it's unconstitutional or not. So what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. I'm happy to announce tonight that I feel led to start a nonprofit group entitled Dads for Justice. And it would be for dads throughout the United States and around the world. If you have at least one child and you are primarily a man of color, black or brown, you will be invited into this group and welcome into the group. Others that have concerns, similar concerns, will be welcome into the group after appropriate vetting. Everyone will be appropriately vetted to be in the Dads for Justice. But as men, we have to take our rightful places. Our communities are under attack. I have not one, but 2 children, and they are the most important people to me on earth. And I would believe that any dad feels the same way. And it is our duty to protect our precious treasures, our young people. And so I'm asking the men, the dads that may be watching around the country and around the world to email me at carlosmoorelaw@gmail.com. carlosmoorelaw@gmail.com if you're interested in becoming a member of this new group, Dads for Justice. We know that what we have had has not been working. Trayvon Martin was killed, I believe, in 2012. This is now 14 years later, and this stuff continues to happen repeatedly. and we see the same refrain over and over, and it's not getting any better. So we're gonna have to try something different. And so I'm calling on all of my educated brothers, my strong brothers that do not mind standing in the gap to come together and let's figure this thing out. I know the Constitution. I know what we can do lawfully and what we cannot do. And we are going to stand and we are going to demand justice for our precious treasures, our children. Because it may be your child today, it could be my child tomorrow. And an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. As I said, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Enough is enough. And so we're going to try something different. And I do believe if there's no arrest, if the evidence leads to arrests for various crimes, including the crime of murder, I believe it needs to occur. Those arrests need to occur by Friday. By Friday. And if there has not been a sufficient update by Wednesday of this week, I will be calling for dads across the country to meet us in Jackson County on Saturday. Saturday, a few days from now, the end of the week, we will convene in Jackson County and we will meet with the officials that will meet with us, and let's discuss why there has not been any arrest. Let's convene as men, face to face, and discuss why there has not been an arrest.
Yeah, and we ain't playing. We sick of this shit. We sick of it. What's good for the, what is it? The geese is good for the gander. I don't know if I said that shit right or wrong, but at the end of the day, listen, we don't have time for this. These people should have been arrested. They should have been arrested just like they do black people who some of them ain't even committed the damn crimes. They take them into custody, they split them up, they put them in the room. Why didn't this happen? Why? Like, what is this? Somebody put on social media. Let me see if I can find it. I don't remember, but I'm gonna try to remember it. I may mess it up now, but what they were saying was the same reason that Karmelo felt like he had to defend himself is similar to what's happening right damn now. What would have happened if, because I don't feel like Nolan, I feel like if Nolan really drowned, we would have the autopsy, we would have all of the information that we are supposed to have. If Nolan drowned, why don't we have any information? Y'all, this is the same shit they put on us with Karmelo. Okay, telling us that Karmelo had did all of this shit. Do y'all know for almost a year, they put it in our face that Karmelo had committed this crime and he had did all of this stuff. We're learning now that everything that we thought we felt before was actually accurate. What we learned is that they set that boy up, they railroaded him, and basically his own attorney had made a deal pretty much to put Karmelo in prison because Karmelo didn't even have a fair shot. Didn't even have a fair shot. Said that Karmelo couldn't even testify. Now y'all know that's your right. How you gonna say he cannot testify? These people are evil. And y'all know what people I'm talking about.
Can't fool me. I know the process. I've been on the inside and I know what should have been done and how it should have been done. And so this man's life mattered. We are taking it very seriously. No one has asked me to do this. I feel led to do this. Time's up. Time's up. And another thing, if it has not been declared an investigation, it needs to be officially declared an investigation. The last I heard, the sheriff said no foul play was suspected. I'm expecting him to come and announce by Tuesday of this week that at this point, foul play should be suspected.
Foul play is never suspected when it comes to black people. Well, okay, if they do something to a black person or suspected of doing something, oh, it was no foul play. How do y'all just answer this question? Okay, I'm not a police. I don't work in law enforcement. I'm not an attorney. but I do have common sense. How do you say that there was no foul play and you ain't even done doing your investigation, you idiot? You just stated that you won't be rushed, but you have already sprinkled out stuff out to the community that this was an accident. This is why y'all see Ben Crump, because Ben Crump gonna sue the fuck out of them. And he should. He should sue the fuck out of them. Y'all know what I mean when I say fuck, which y'all get it. This is YouTube. This is why. Which is it? I mean, if it was no foul play involved, then I just want to know what are you investigating. You see when people double talk and they can't get it straight. Another way, you know, how you figure out that they just lying. You're just lying and you're just making shit up. And there was foul play. This is why you withholding evidence. This is why you're not doing shit. We have saw this play over and over again. And this is why Karmelo had to protect himself. This is why right here.
There should be certain persons of interest. There should be certain suspects, because to not have an investigation going on, that gives some people the liberty to keep destroying evidence, because they can argue that they did not know they were under investigation. They were not suspects. And so they did not know they could obstruct justice. You need to declare that there's an official investigation. Evidence needs to be preserved. Search warrants need to be issued, and this needs to be taken very seriously. People should not be able to cover this up because the sheriff has declared no foul play is suspected. So everybody's at liberty to do what they want to do. If they want to scrub a boat at 3 a.m. because nothing is under investigation, if they want to scrub social media, but the digital footprint is already there, so you can't really scrub it. You may scrub it on your device, but with the proper search warrants on the proper entities, we will get down to the bottom of this. And so the public deserves to know what's being done and when, and we deserve to know timely. And it's time out for the rules in Mississippi being applied haphazardly. It's time out for the rules being applied haphazardly. Everyone pretty much knows that I was disciplined by the state of Mississippi for speaking out as a sitting judge about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. I said that if people still did not come to the conclusion that justice is not blind in America, that they just refuse to accept an ugly truth. The Supreme Court of Mississippi disciplined me for saying that. And in fact, even though I had resigned from the bench before they made the decision, they still banned me for life for being a judge in Mississippi. I had long moved on with my life in Atlanta, got married, started a family, and going on with my life in a new place. And they still banned me for life. We know that a sitting judge has made 2 very public statements. We know that she's the stepmother of one of the friends of, so-called friends of Nolan Wells. So we're calling for a proper investigation into her statements, because they've already gone on record. It was not a unanimous verdict concerning me. I believe Justice Leslie King, who happens to be the only Black member of the Supreme Court, dissented and said I had done nothing wrong. But the others on that court, I believe at least 7 others on that court, said I had done something wrong, and they have banned me for life from being a judge in Mississippi. And when I moved to Atlanta, I've never planned to move back to Mississippi. So some people saying I was removed from the bench. That is not true. I resigned from the bench, got married, and moved to Atlanta. So I believe when President Trump got in office, he tried to remove Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms from office, but you couldn't remove her because she had already resigned. And so people can have showmanship, but you can't remove someone who's already been voluntarily left. And so Mississippi has tried to silence me. They thought I would be embarrassed by the banning. The law, what's lawful, may not be what is expedient. So the majority ruled, the Black justice ruled in my favor, but he was the only lone voice. And so I had to accept the rule, and I've accepted that I'm banned for life. in Mississippi for being a judge, but I do know that there are 49 other states. I do know that there are 49 other states. And I do know that there's a U.S. Supreme Court that I'm not banned from serving on. I'm currently licensed in the state of Tennessee to practice law, where I've been practicing. And my wife and I, my family, we're happy. We are thrilled to be living in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we don't miss Mississippi at all. And now that I am a former judge, I can do this live for you. But what I'm simply saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The majority has already said I could not make statements about a matter while I was a sitting judge, even on my own time.
Okay. Did y'all hear what the judge said? When you are a dang on it judge, you cannot make statements, okay? You can't be making statements. You shouldn't be making statements. Well, you shouldn't. You can't. You can't make statements. Remember the judge, Ashley? Ashley has been making statements after statements after statements. And remember, I told y'all, I said they have filed a complaint against her. I want to quickly shift gears for a second because I want to get into that. Ashley has been making statements, okay? And I feel like, and again, this is my damn feelings. I don't care who like it and who don't. I'm not saying that this is factual. I'm saying this is what I believe. I believe Ashley is making these statements because she's trying to protect her little son and his friends. Because I believe that Ashley knows that something happened. You just heard a former judge say that when you are a judge, he said when he was a judge, he could not make these statements. But yet Ashley, 𝐿'Ashley''𝐶, has made statement after statement after statement. And they done filed a complaint against her ass because it's illegal. You can't make statements. Ashley has made multiple statements as it relates to this case. And as y'all just heard the judge say, it's illegal. He just stated when he was a judge, or if he was a judge, he would not be able to comment on these particular matters. But yet we have Ashley making all of these damn statements. She's making statements, guys. I mean, just think about it. Think about it for a moment. We just gonna think because we can. Why would she be making statements? Think about it. I'm gonna risk my job to make a statement because hell, we don't know. Ashley could be involved. I mean, because look, if I had did something wrong and my mama or somebody I can call as the judge, because that's all Ashley is I'm sorry. Well, she is a judge, but all she really is a lawyer at face value. You know, she didn't win, re-election. She could just practice law and be an attorney. So at the end of the day, that's all she really is without her election, to being an actual judge. You don't think Ashley gonna tell her son what to do and what not to do? Don't be stupid now. Okay? But she risked her job coming out on social media, making statements, knowing she's not supposed to be making no damn statements. This is an ongoing criminal matter, and she's making statements. She knows she ain't supposed to be making no damn statements. This is the last statement she made right here. We have decided that we will not be speaking to the press at this time. This is after she done already ran her mouth. The media is not the appropriate forum to further elaborate on the facts of July 4th, 2026. We realize that the truth will not stop the cause for the unaliving of our small children. Y'all remember at the start of this show, I said they do the same thing over and over again. One is, they play victim. Nolan has passed away, but yet she want to tell us about her small children when all you got to do is take their pictures down. Like, your girls, I mean, we're not talking about your small children. Nolan is no longer with us. We have not had the opportunity to speak to the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐠𝐞𝐿 family. Girl, so you mean to tell me that you haven't had the opportunity to speak to Nolan's mother? You know, the Nolan that you said that you love so much? This ain't love. This lady probably didn't even like Nolan. She says she hasn't spoken to them or their attorney. However, we are willing to directly communicate with attorney Ben Crump and the 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐠𝐞𝐿 family. So why do you need to come on social media? Why come you can't just reach out to Christine? Because she said that she was of the community and her and Christine went to school together. We will provide them with all the information known to us so their family can rest and properly mourn. What? We also want to know what happened to Nolan. Well, what information are you providing? We will do everything within our power to assist Nolan's family in their quest for answers. But you ain't assist Nolan family in their quest for answers. You haven't reached out to them. You have done absolutely nothing but what it appears that you have done. It appears, Ashley, that what you have done is you try to shield your son away from whatever it is that he could have done or his involvement as it relates to Nolan. Now, this was the first statement that she released. You know, she released statements after statements after statements. Remember, she shouldn't be commenting on this. This is an open investigation. She is using intimidation tactics. This was the first one she released. Our family, along with the community, grieves the loss of Nolan Wells. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son, Warren, loved Nolan dearly. Unfortunately, I feel that it is appropriate for our family to dispel some rumors with facts based upon the social media attention that is being diverted away from the Wells family and their loss. Yes, I deactivated my Facebook given the very heightened emotional state of social media right now. I fear for the safety of my child and my children. Again, she's playing victim. You will see this pattern with all white, I shouldn't say all, with the majority of white people. They are always the victim in every single situation. This has nothing to do with you or your children, lady. Call the police, okay? If you feel like you're not safe, call the po-po, okay? My husband and I have 6 children, and we covet their privacy. We do not believe it is appropriate for our minor children's photographs to be circulated throughout the internet, presenting potential threats to their safety. Now, I have not saw any pictures, and that's not to say that it didn't happen, but I haven't saw any pictures of any children, lady. So I don't know if this is another one of your lies, but I haven't saw it. She says that she graduated from high school with Christine Wells Wansley. Well, isn't that interesting that, you know, she said that she graduated. I don't know if that would, you know, mean that they had a relationship, but we know just by what you said, you hadn't even really reached out to her. So when you say we are from the community, I have no idea what community you're talking about. But what she's trying to insinuate is, hey, she's just like one of us. I have the utmost respect for her and all of the Wells family. We mourn the loss of Nolan with them. Our prayers have been and will continue to be with them. My husband and I were not on Horn Island at any point on 4th of July. Okay. No one in our family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation. Now, this is where she crosses the line as a judge. By law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement quest for answers. Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last around 3 to 4 o'clock. Okay, 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30. When the boat was taking on water and had an issue with the bilge pump, Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Where is that group of friends? Do you know what they have not provided us, y'all? It's the other group of friends. Maybe within the next few days, they'll find somebody to take on that responsibility. Yes, I'm a judge. I also value transparency. I apologize if anyone was offended that I deleted my social media. There was no nefarious motivations in my deleting my social media. Social media has a lot of positives, but a whole lot of negatives. We live in a world of clickbaiting, sad but true. My family is hopeful that this information will help to redirect the attention to the Wells family, their grief, and their need for our community support. So this is the bullshit that she's putting on social media. While she's putting that on social media, Christine is planning the funeral of her son. This is the same Christine that you say you went to high school with. This is the same Christine that you said that you highly respect. Planning the funeral of our 18-year-old does not feel real. All the emotions are running together. I thank God for the moments of being able to watch videos and hear his laugh again. We miss you so much, Nolan. Yeah, nobody believes this. Like, I definitely believe something happened. And you know, it'd be kind of interesting when you hear people that's of the profession, specifically this judge, or well, he's not a judge anymore. He's an attorney, but when you hear him speak of what he says or what he saw, and you know, one thing that's consistent is, you know, the state of Mississippi. And when it comes to Black people.
For something that had already occurred. The Kyle Rittenhouse verdict was already out there. So I didn't try to influence the results of the jury. But here, there has been no arrest. And she knows that her stepson's name is on everybody's lips. So why is she making public statements? So there is something called the Mississippi Judicial Performance Commission. I'm expecting them to do their job once at least one person files a complaint with the Mississippi Judicial Performance Commission against Judge 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐿. You can go to their website, you can get the complaint form from there, and whoever decides to file it can file it. It will be.
So this was what I was just showing you guys. He's mentioning the complaint. Let me just show you guys that again. So somebody did file a complaint against her. And hopefully she shuts up. But you guys know what? The damage is already done. Like, she has already put that out in the universe. You know, intimidation is real. Intimidation is a real thing. So there was a complaint filed against her because she violated the provisions of the Mississippi Constitution, the Mississippi Code of Judicial Conduct, and a memorandum of understanding governing judicial ethics. So if you guys want to file a complaint, this is the information right here. She violated Article 6, Section 177A of the Mississippi Constitution, the Code of Judicial Conduct, and a memorandum of understanding. So at the end of this, let me go back. It asks you to file a formal complaint, submit a complaint against Judge 𝐻𝐨𝐫𝐿, make your voice heard, and help hold people accountable as it relates to this case. This is where you get that complaint from. www.judicialperformance.ms. MS is for Mississippi, but it's just ms.gov/filing-complaint. That is how you file a complaint. And that is what the judge is speaking to on this video, because she wasn't supposed to do this.
A confidential proceeding. We won't know what their decision is or that they investigated until they make the decision or the recommendation to the Mississippi Supreme Court, and then they will rule. And we'll know when they rule what the punishment is, if any, for Judge Cole. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I'm no longer going to accept that what happens to Black people just happens to Black people. It needs to be applied evenly across the board. That's what the 14th Amendment to the Constitution requires: equal justice under the law. And so I have every full confidence that they will apply the law fairly and the rules fairly, and that she will be held accountable if and when someone reports it to the commission. That's the way life should be. Things should be applied. And if they somehow made a mistake and that's not the rule or not the law, I believe the Supreme Court should overturn itself and say that what Carlos said is not a cause for discipline. And they should go on record and reverse themselves and say, I'm no longer banned for life. And then Judge Cole should not be in trouble, because they have gone on record and changed their minds. They have accepted Judge Leslie King's dissent as what should be controlling, because he gave a very long dissent. His dissent was longer than the ruling that said I should be disciplined. So go read Judge Leslie King's dissent. He told why I had a First Amendment right to free speech and that I did not cross the line. So he's a very learned man. He's a very learned man. So Mississippi, your time is up. We're tired of playing games with you. We're tired of playing games. We need for you to do the right thing across the board and apply the rules fairly and evenly. Apply the rules evenly and fairly. And so we are expecting great things to come this week. And as I said, we will be calling for a convening in Jackson County on Saturday of this week if we don't get the results that we think should happen, and if the evidence leads to certain conclusions that certain things should happen. We're going to go down there and we're going to talk to the officials. We'll be where we're going to be until we get the answers that we need. That young man should be alive. That's what I do know. He should be alive. Had everything to live for. Was excited about going to Southwest on Monday of last week to begin his practice for football season. He is no longer here, and folks have decided to get very quiet. And if my understanding is correct, the parents of Nolan Wells has said that the parents of those young boys, those friends, have not spoken to them. I can't imagine.
Imagine that. Imagine that. And they think we stupid. This is why I say the little stuff that, I'm not going to say the little stuff, their actions proved what happened. I guess I wouldn't speak to you either, knowing that my son or my child done did something nefarious to your child. I don't know what to say.
One of my children's friends, close friends, died, and I'm not going over there to comfort the family. Those children should become like your own children. And the normal thing would be to go comfort and be there for a family while they're grieving. That's normal. So when things don't happen as they normally do, you have to ask yourself why. You have to ask yourself why. And so I refuse to be denied. I refuse to be silent. Mississippi thought that they would embarrass me enough that I would become silent and run away quietly. No, you just emboldened me. You have just emboldened me. I'm going to continue to call a spade because I have a First Amendment right to do so. And you even said in your order that I can say certain things as an attorney that I could not say as a sitting judge. Well, I'm no longer a sitting judge, but I am an attorney that's practicing in the state of Tennessee. And I'm well-versed in the Constitution. I'm well-versed in criminal procedure. I have a Juris Doctorate, and I'm going to give the people, my people, the benefit of my knowledge. I pray that the Jackson County District Attorney does his or her job, that the Jackson County Sheriff does his job, that the Ocean Springs Police Chief does his or her job. I pray that if they need reinforcements from state or federal.
That's interesting. I haven't saw this, but I'm gonna have to look for it. I didn't hear the mother say specifically what. I know she did mention it, like she didn't really go into it. That's how you can kind of tell that she's just a sweet individual, because, you know, it just seemed like she just want to focus more on positivity. But she did mention something. I didn't hear anything about her actually saying former classmates, but if you heard it, Renaissance woman, I'm inclined to believe that the mama then, you know, because keep in mind, she said she went to high school with Christine. So yeah, it's given jealousy. You know, I'm just going to call it. Why did Nolan pass away right before he was supposed to, you know, get more into football? Y'all, I'm not a sports person, so I don't know exactly what it was he was doing. But do y'all see the resemblance in Nolan and Karmelo? Both athletes, good kids, good grades, respectable. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do y'all see the resemblance here? And now you're saying, Renaissance woman said, the mom said people who went to high school with her are posting vile things about Nolan. So that should tell you everything about these former classmates. Well, you know what it tells me? It tells me that possibly this Judge Ashley is in on it. And that's probably why she haven't went over there, or one of the reasons why. Because, I mean, she did say that they went to high school together. Now, what a coincidence that people from high school are posting vile things about somebody that lost their life. But they're not posting vile things about those white tees who were getting drunk and probably doing drugs too. But we don't know, but probably.
Agents that the resources come in this week. And I hope and pray that the proper arrests are made this week. The clock is now ticking. Tick, tock, tick, tock. We will abide by the Constitution. We will abide by every law. But we will be there in your presence until justice is done for Nolan Wells. And not only for Nolan Wells, but we're starting Dads for Justice across the country. We plan to start chapters across the country and around the world. I've traveled to Ghana. I have a lot of relationships in Ghana and Nigeria. We've been across Europe. We've been across the world, 5 continents. There's only 2 that I have not been to. Having been the 79th president of the National Bar Association, my reach is vast. And we bring all the resources to bear to combat this plague. And we're going to do it in a very educated, knowledgeable manner. We're going to come with the facts, with the proper process and procedures And you're gonna have to explain to us why you're not following the law, the proper policy and procedure. What's the non-racial reason for you departing from the normal policy and procedure? The usual and proper protocol. And if you're doing the right thing, you should be able to look me and the other dads in the face, man to man, and tell us why you're deviating from the standard, from the norm. And if you can't do that, that's a problem. That's a problem. I'm calling on the Department of Justice to look into those that currently hold power in Jackson County to see if they have been complicit with any alleged cover-up. We know the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Mississippi has jurisdiction to look into this. We know that for an alleged bribery scheme in Jackson, where we're talking about less than $200,000, they successfully prosecuted 3 Black men in Jackson, Mississippi for a conspiracy to commit bribery. We know that there were multi-millions of dollars on the line that they say Brett Favre and others were involved with, but they can secure any convictions for that. One set of men were Black and one set of men were white. You tell me, did racism play a part? So justice moves swift. It moves swiftly in Mississippi when the alleged perpetrators happen to look like me.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember that, but Brett Favre, I'm going to say alleged because I don't remember the entire case, but I remember some of it. Did y'all hear about, they said that he had stole money that was meant for people on welfare? I know y'all heard about that. They did nothing about it. So tell me, why is a football player stealing money allegedly from people on welfare? But they didn't do anything about that in the good state of racist Mississippi.
It moves very swiftly. I can recall back in 2015, somewhere around that time, I represented a young Black man by the name of Joshua Blunt. He left his child mistakenly in a hot car and the child died, and he was immediately arrested for second-degree murder, held on a $250,000 bond. He did something that a white woman had done less than 100 days prior in Madison, Mississippi, Madison County. Her name was never plastered all over the paper, the news. She was never arrested, never charged with anything, never indicted. My client was indicted and has a felony on his record to this day. I fought to keep him out of prison, and we kept him out of prison. He decided to plead at the last minute because they promised to take prison time off of the table. But I was bound and determined not to let that young man go to prison for making a mistake, just like the white woman did. We gave him the benefit of the doubt and we fought for him pro bono. When I believe in you, I'm gonna fight for you. Didn't ask for one dime. That young man stayed free. He went on to have more children with his now wife. But I can write a book about Mississippi, and one day I probably will. Time and time and time and time again, I saw instances where race was a factor in the criminal justice system. I didn't imagine it. I know from firsthand experience. I know from firsthand experience. So I'm not going to look the other way any longer. I'm going to continue to do these lives throughout this time frame and others. If you call me, I will be there from California to New York as head of the Dads for Justice. And if it's your daughter or your son that is killed or harmed, and you feel that that's not a fair and thorough investigation, you have another resource. Someone who has been on the inside, knows the answers, knows the questions and know what the proper answers should be, knows the process. I won't charge you a dime. I'm going to start a nonprofit, and I expect to have enough money raised from our successful brothers and sisters in this country and if lawful other countries to combat this plague. But we're going to get to the bottom of it one way or the other. We're going to do it in a lawful manner, an educated manner. We're going to stay calm, cool, and collected, but we will get down to the bottom of it. And so this week is a pivotal week. People are starting to come forth. They are not hiding their names, and so it's easy to contact them and do a proper investigation. And I've given you a laundry list of misdemeanors and felonies that people should be.
I just want to address this comment. So I think maybe this applies to you. You said, man, they did a real number on us. Most of us, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Man, they did a real number on us, most of it before we was all born. And now we all stuck in their system to witness their evil ways. I have no idea what that means because I'm not stuck in anything. So let me redo your comment because I have no idea what you're referring to. I'm not stuck in anything. I can see clear and I know what's going on.
Looked at and arrested and tried for in this matter. And if you disagree with me, I'm happy to face you face to face. You tell me why you disagree. And we can look at the evidence or the lack thereof. But I believe this family deserves an explanation at this.
Nolan Wells had a Division I college football tryout, yes, scheduled for that Monday, which is why he was actively avoiding substances during his 4th of July trip to stay in top shape. Yes, 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 you are right. That's what it was. That is exactly what it was. Thank you for putting that in the chat.
Point. I'm surprised if the allegation is true that the family has not seen the body yet before the first autopsy. Why is that? That's not the norm. That's not the norm. Was the body so badly decomposed that you could not stand to show the family at this point? Is it true that dental records had to be used to identify someone that had been allegedly dead less than 48 hours? I continue to remind you that I may have been born at night, but it definitely was not last night.
Wait a minute, I like him already. Because look, I say I may not, I was born on a day, not yesterday. This is hilarious. He's right. He's totally right. Listen, y'all. I don't know if y'all caught this, but they had said that he had to be identified with the dental records. And in my mind, I was like, okay. Because I, for some reason, never think the worst in certain instances. Because, then I started to think, I'm like, well, did they beat him up or something? You guys do know that the parents have not saw him. Do y'all not? Yeah, I don't know if y'all know that. They haven't saw him. They have not saw his body. So they don't know what shape his body is in. But when somebody has to be identified, y'all, by their dental records, you do realize that it's something going on with this face part. Because, you look at somebody and you identify them. But if you cannot identify the person, what happened? Like, what's going on with the face that they could not identify him to the tune that he had to be identified via dental records? This tells me that he was beat. I mean, what else could have happened that they couldn't identify him only by means of dental records?
You know, another thing, I almost quit school because it had recess. I don't play. I do not play. I'm a man of business. I'm all about business. And so now that I'm fed up, it's time for action. I've never been a person for all talk and no action. If I go after it, I plan to achieve it. I plan to achieve it. And because Mississippi didn't want me to be a judge anymore, I decided that I would just run for Congress. And so now I'm currently running for Congress out of Georgia, Metro Atlanta area, in Congressional District 13. When I was on the bench, I created a second chances program called the Do Better ASAP program, Do Better Alternative Sentencing Accountability Program, where I gave youthful, first-time nonviolent offenders a second chance. Got a lot of reviews for that. It was very successful. Walmart gave us $1 million to train other judges to do the same. It depends on what lens you looked at it. Some people thought it was a great thing. Some people thought it was bad. But if I could do that as a municipal judge, imagine what I can do for the people once I get to Congress. The election is on July the 28th in the 13th Congressional District of Georgia. And we plan to win it. And we plan to go to Washington and shake things up. This country's in a mess, and we need some bold soldiers. I believe there was a judge in the Bible days that stood for the people.
So I think he gave some very interesting perspectives. Now, again, we don't know what Nolan's body looks like. It's just, you know, something that I really haven't talked about very much because I do understand that this family is already going through. But I do believe that, you know, when they say that they had to identify the body and go on dental records, y'all, it means that, you know, if y'all recall, you know, some of you guys have been mentioning Emmett Till in the chat. Y'all do remember what they did to Emmett Till. This is what they did to Emmett Till. That's his face. You know, you see a picture of his face, how it looked. And then, of course, this is, you know, after they beat him. So, I don't think that this is going to get any better. I think it's going to get worse before it gets any better. I want to get into this video. I want to show you guys this video that officer, or is it the sheriff? I think they call themselves the sheriff. Sheriff Ledbetter did. Remember, I just read an article in which he said he's not going to be rushed. But let's get into this interview that he did.
Since Nolan Wells' body was found on Horn Island. As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
this investigation is active, it's ongoing,
he wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI. The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else. I just know I've lost my best friend.
One of the friends.
Okay, well, yeah, the funeral is happening next week. Somebody said that means the autopsy is going to be showing up. Well, it just means, the funeral is next week. Yeah, I mean, if you guys remember, Mississippi had the body first. I mean, this is the 14th. I mean, Mississippi have not said anything. And I don't know with their autopsy if they're going to release the results. They may not release the results. They may wait to Mississippi and let Mississippi release them. Let Mississippi do the job that they are collecting taxpayers' money, saying that they're doing. Okay, so we don't know. I don't know if they're going to release those results. Remember, they're independent. I just want y'all to understand too. The independent investigation is strictly for their civil case, just so y'all know. So they may not release that stuff right away. Somebody wanted me to show the interview with Javon and his mother. I could, but I can't find it. I was only able to find it on someone else's channel, but they didn't link the video in the description. So I do not know where that interview is. If you guys know, go ahead and put it in the chat. Javon, the friend of Nolan, did an interview recently, and somebody wanted me to show that, but I cannot find it. Let me see if I can search again and see if I can find it. Yeah, I can see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm not able to find it. Like I said, I did see it on somebody else's channel, but I don't know where it is. Y'all talking about the reading lady. Y'all talking about a damn, what them people call hoodoo lady? I guess. Why would Nolan jump in the water and start swimming? That don't even make sense. You do realize there was people on the island. So why would he jump in the water and start swimming? That don't even make no damn sense. Do you think that Nolan didn't know that he would drown? I mean, at some point you will get tired. I don't believe he jumped in the water. Why would he might as well have stayed on the damn island. I don't believe he jumped in the water. I don't believe that. I do believe they took his phone. Yeah, I don't believe that. Thank you. Yeah, tarot card. Yeah, no, that's damn hoodoo. What they call them, voodoo lady or whatever. Yeah, I don't know about that. The police has not done their job. The same police literally trained by the ADL, shit, I can't see. Why is the Anti-Defamation League training the, oh my God, training the police? The Anti-Defamation League training the police. Oh my God. I've never heard of that. Is that happening in Mississippi? What? The Anti-Defamation League. Oh, that's why they slow. Yeah, I don't believe he drowned. Like, I mean, think about it. If somebody left you on an island, I mean, you can't swim back. It's just not gonna work. The only thing you can do is stay on that island, and maybe somebody will give you a ride back. But you think you're gonna swim back? No, I don't think he thought that. I don't think he thought that. Nolan's best friend sounded. What? His best friend sounded probably. No, I don't know what that means. I believe that something either happened on the boat during the route home or it happened once they arrived back. You know what? I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about that. Okay. I said the same thing. I said either something happened when they got back or something happened on the boat. I thought of that too. I definitely thought about that. You know why I thought about it? That maybe something happened on the boat? Because I said, okay, they called at 11 o'clock, which was late, but based on the account that they gave, they made it back earlier. So why did they wait till 11 o'clock and call? So I thought about it. I said, what if something happened on the boat? Now listen, this would make sense though. I'm not saying this is what happened, but if they got into an altercation and they threw him overboard, you see what I'm saying? If they threw him overboard, but I don't think he voluntarily got in that water. Because if they threw him overboard, I mean, if you guys think about it, although him being a good swimmer, there's a lot that you would have to do to stay alive in that water, like including not panicking. And I don't know him, so I wouldn't know what that was like. So, I mean, but I don't think he voluntarily said, I'm going to stay on this island. I just don't believe that happened. I just don't. I believe that is a lie. He died and they said nothing. Everything was found out by Nolan parents. I mean, they could know more than what they're telling us too. Keep in mind, I mean, they have Ben Crump has a whole team investigating this. So they could know more than they're telling us. They are suspicious for a reason. I mean, I'm suspicious. This whole thing is just weird. The Anti-Defamation League is supposed to teach police how to not use bias. Oh, well, it ain't working. Okay, I didn't know that. The Anti-Defamation League is supposed to teach police how to not be biased. Well, girl, boy, it ain't working. So, because they definitely are biased. All right, guys, make sure you guys have liked the video. Has everybody liked the video? Did y'all like the video? Let me see. Because y'all, we've been on here for almost 3 hours, which is over my time. Y'all know I am a 2-hour at most. Now, the fact that I stayed on here longer, I need at least, let me see how many likes y'all be playing. Y'all be playing games. Let's see here. Make sure I turn this down. Trying to think if I want to go back and work out. I think I will. So I think I was kind of slow today with the working out. Let's see here. Y'all are a little stingy with the likes though, for real. Y'all are very stingy with the likes. I'm looking, they kind of little. Somebody sent. Oh, somebody sent 100 jewels. I wonder why they don't show up in my chat. They didn't even show up. I just looked on my phone and it showed, but it really don't show up. That's odd. It didn't even show in the chat. But when I looked on my phone, it said somebody sent 100 jewels. You know what? It didn't even show up in my chat, but I can see it on my phone. Rent TLYW4V. Thank you for the 100 jewels. It did not even show up in the chat. That's crazy. But I'm looking on my phone and I can see it. Somebody said my thumbnail has a picture of 2 of the boys from the boat, but I know. So let me kind of tell y'all what how the thumbnail creation works. So I have a system that does it, and a lot of times it's correct, but sometimes they get it wrong. Okay, so I just didn't feel like going back in there putting another picture. That's what happened with the thumbnail, just so y'all know. So I did upload all 3 pictures, but for some reason the thumbnail, what it did is the thumbnail has that boy on there that gave that interview. I believe that's who he is. So it kind of messed it up a little bit. But y'all, I'm about to get up out of here because we've been on here for almost 3 hours. Go ahead and like the video. If you guys have not liked the video, you still have an opportunity to like the video. You can also share the stream, hype up the stream. But I'll see y'all later. I'm about to get off here. I got some documentation that I need to read as it relates to Karmelo Anthony. I got another 45 pages that I got to get done. So y'all about to get up out of here, okay? Because I got to do that. And then I got to do another video on my Lakeyshakeysha TV channel about these damn housewives, okay? So I will catch y'all later. Like the video. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys do that. If not, or if you have not done so, make sure you enable your bell notification, because if you don't, you'll miss out when I go live or when I upload a video. See you guys later.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down. Clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. But I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Make sure you subscribe to Lakeysha Keysha, my dear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Lakeysha Keysha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Stretch words like spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeysha Keysha channel.